Hi, I'm Kat, marketer turned brand storyteller,
And I'm Candice, educator turned entrepreneur.
and you're listening to
Not nice, clever.
We're two introverts who speak on stages around the country and work with top personal brands who also unapologetically require 24 to 48 hours of recovery time on the couch in our favorite sweats, all Netflix and no chill.
And to be clear, we're not quiet or nice. Together, we're redefining what it means to be an introvert who means business. It's time to show up and show off. Are you in?
In today's mini episode, we are talking all about the power of curiosity in networking, how it can save you from small talk, how it can lessen that awkward pain that sometimes, if you're an introvert, you're feeling when you don't have your safety blanket at an upcoming conference or cocktail hour that you said yes to when you were in a good mood and now you're regretting it. I feel like I could go down and down the rabbit hole, but Candice, let's get into this, pack this mini full of value. How can we use curiosity basically to lessen the agony of being around people?
So for context, Kat and I are going to New York to Inman, which is one of the largest real estate conferences that happens twice a year, once a year in New York, once a year in Las Vegas. And we are thinking about how to connect with the people that we know we want to deepen our relationships with and the people that maybe we haven't even met yet, but are on our radar to connect with. And one thing that actually Corey taught me is just this simple tool of leaning into curiosity. Because as introverts, we know there's a lot of pressure and stress that comes with attending large events, especially if you're going alone. And Kat and I have both been to conferences alone.
We have.
And we had places where we maybe didn't know anyone at all. And that can feel really scary for someone who hates small talk as much as Kat and I do. And we know that you are likely in a similar boat. And so leaning into curiosity has been super, super helpful because, spoiler alert, people love talking about themselves.
Yes, they do. If anything, we have learned in our years of consulting and coaching with clients, they love to talk. They love to talk about themselves.
And because I'm an Enneagram 5 and I'm an investigator, I actually love to learn about why people do the things that they do, what their goals and dreams are. And if you really truly lean into curiosity and you're authentic about it, you can learn so much about a person and it's not going to feel like small talk.
And the other thing that I really love about this too is that you're approaching it from such a almost like childlike, like, hey, what's your story? Hey, what brought you here today? It's so disarming because most people, when they go to conferences, particularly sometimes like Inman, they're expecting to be pitched or to be sold or like to have those same 5 questions of small talk that people always ask. And so it's really disarming, which is nice because that kind of lessens some of the anxiety as being an introvert. But the other thing too to keep in mind is that asking questions and being curious actually puts you in the driver's seat because people who ask the questions control the conversation at the end of the day, right, Candice?
Totally. And so one of my favorite questions to ask people is, hey, what are you working on this year? Especially in January, right? Hey, what's the big project you're working on this year? And people often tell me, oh, XYZ, I'm working on these things. Like these are really important to me. And sometimes there is an easy way for me to immediately add value because I can say, oh, you are building out your website? Here's my friend who does that for you. Or, oh, and I'm not trying to sell anything, but I might be able to be a resource or make a connection to someone that can help them achieve their goal. The fastest way to build relationships is to offer value and connect people to resources to help them reach their goals.
And again, like calling back to our introverted clever crew, sales can sometimes feel icky or weird. And it's like, oh, I have to pitch myself. Oh, I have to meet 100 people. I have to do all these things. But if you come at it through the lens of every single person that you talk to needs something, they are struggling with something. It might be just that they need a new Pilates studio to go to, and you just so happen to have recommendations ready. Or it might be more business oriented, like Candice was saying. They are thinking of revamping their website. They are struggling to hire and maybe they need some resources, some SOPs to support themselves there. And so just really when you look at networking that way, if you can't have the safety blanket, right? Obviously, our go-to is like, all right, where's my people? Let me hang out with my people. But you do, and you are in conversation with people. Curiosity is like something that we found is just very, very helpful. And it's also not hard to do because you just have to have a couple questions up your sleeve. I love the question that you said, Candice, in the context of if it's around the new year or like even around a new quarter, right? A new business quarter. Like, what are your
Yep.
goals? Like, are you breaking them down? Another question that I love is asking where they're flying in from and then asking them more about their city and if they grew up there. And like, you know me, I love like, I'm not an Enneagram 5, but I love like just getting to know people's stories because I've lived in so many cities and so have you. So that's another thing too, because people love talking about their journey, right? And where they came from. People tend to have a lot of pride about their city, their state. Also, the other thing too that I want to be very intentional about when I'm attending events here is that if I glean these little tidbits, like, oh, so and so is looking for support in a website, or so and so said that they were going to be hiring a marketing intern so that they can start delegating out some tasks, or so and so is also from the Bay Area and they're a Niners fan. That's incredible. I'll take the time to note that down in just a note on my phone, or if you're even shorter on time, just text myself these little details, 2, 3 things about whoever it is that I'm talking to. And then when I do my follow ups or I get in touch with them or I connect with them on social, I don't have to be like, hi, great meeting you at Inman. I can be like, I'm so glad the 49ers won the Super Bowl. How incredible was that? Purdy didn't throw an interception. We love this. Can you guys tell? I've been a little scarred lately with how Purdy's played, but anyway, I don't know how well this episode's going to age. Getting away from myself. Use use the answers you got from leveraging curiosity in your follow-ups that doesn't make you feel weird or like I'm impressing upon them because you know it's fun common ground that you guys are both passionate about or excited about or that you can literally help them solve a problem. No shame game in reaching out, right?
I love that. There's two other things that are top of mind for me when I'm going to networking events. One is I always go in with a goal, and I'm sure we've talked about this in a previous episode. But for example, Kat and I sat down and said, who do we want to be guests on Not Nice Clever in the future?
Yep.
And our goal for Inman is to book at least 4 new podcast guests, and we have like a wish list of guests that we want.
Mm-hmm.
So we know we are going to attempt to meet those people. And sometimes we're going to use our network to get in front of those people. So if it's someone who my friend Tyler knows, I'm going to be like, hey, I really want them on our podcast. Can you make that introduction? I'm going to ask a favor from a friend,
Yeah.
right? Phone a friend. Use that. So that's one thing that we're going into the conference thinking about. And I have a few other goals as well. I'm sure Kat does too, but that's one of them. And to me, when I know what the goal is, it makes the conference more fun for me as an
It's like a
introvert because
game,
I
right?
feel like yes, it's a game.
Oh,
I'm on an
I love
adventure.
that you said that.
I have a task to complete,
Mm-hmm.
and that is really helpful in my mind because I could stop thinking about how I feel and my stress, and I could think about obtaining my goal.
Yes.
And my goal is not like selling things, but my goal is making deep connections.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that when I make deep connections, the sales will come.
That's the byproduct. Like that's the easy part.
Right?
It's the being
Yes.
vulnerable and like being consistent. That's where you got to invest the time.
The second tip that I would give you is make sure you take a picture with this person. So adding on to what you just said, Kat, is like take notes
Mm-hmm.
of, a couple things that you can talk to them about in the future.
Yep.
But if you take a picture with them, that helps you to remember. And I always love to tag someone in a photo at a networking event and compliment them, obviously only genuinely, publicly. Because if you want to build relationships with people and you genuinely found something interesting, cool, amazing about this person, and you acknowledge that publicly, guaranteed they're going to get a little tickle in their heart that's like, ooh, that's cool. She really saw me, you know?
Tickle in their heart. I
A little
love
something.
that. You're
A little something. They're gonna feel seen, heard, and valued.
mm,
And that's
gold.
what every human wants to do.
Period.
And so I highly recommend doing that, and a picture with a tag and a compliment and a note in your phone about something you've talked about and a follow-up. Oh my gosh, done. That's everything.
You're welcome.
You're welcome. I think that's it. They're good.
I think that is too. Clever crew, we appreciate you. Leverage the power of curiosity. We'll let you know how Inman goes. You know we're going to be doing a debrief. So catch you on the next episode.
Thanks for joining us on Not Nice, Clever.
Remember to follow our podcast wherever you listen to audio.
And if you found today's episode valuable, please share it with your friends.
No gatekeeping here. Remember, we love to see our clever crew grow.
Signing off, you're not so nice, but oh so clever besties that mean business.
See you soon.